Hi, you're watching Nerdy News on VideoGamesBlogger.com. I'm your host Laura, and today I'll be filling you in on the latest in gaming news. University and college students all across Canada had just 48 hours to create a video game in a competition for $25,000. 325 students from across Canada signed up for the second annual Great Canadian Appathon, a competition sponsored by the Toronto video game studio XMG. Each team had 48 hours to create a working mobile app game. The marathon began at 6 p.m. last Friday and ended at 6 p.m. Sunday night. Out of all the games created for the competition, XMG staff whittled that down to 25. Then industry experts will come up with the winner by November. This competition and the prize money can help students break into the industry. The team that won the first competition now has its own studio, BitShift, and its game is about to hit the market. The winning game will be published in an app store, and the team will win $25,000. Second place winners will also have their game published and will receive a $10,000 prize. Traditionally divided between Japan and North America, the video game industry is looking for a new home in the Middle East. Video game agency Digital Development Management is teaming with a group of Middle Eastern business people to form a new company called Red Stallion Interactive that will produce and distribute games in the region. The company will start with identifying titles that were recently released or are currently in production to be translated into Arabic and released by Red Stallion. The company also plans to produce its own games rooted in Middle Eastern culture to be distributed worldwide. Due to the relatively small number of consoles, such as the Nintendo Wii, Sony PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360 in the region, Red Stallion plans to focus largely on digital distribution via smartphones and other mobile devices, which are more plentiful in the Middle East. So far, the company experts have estimated that the market for games could reach $750 million a year. The next time you see Nintendo Power or the official Xbox magazine in a newsstand, you might not want to take it for granted. Future Publishing, the company that now handles all of the brand-specific print publications for the video game industry, is struggling and said recently it may have to take drastic measures. In the US, Future publishes Nintendo Power, the official Xbox magazine, and PlayStation, the official magazine. These used to be run by different companies, and Nintendo Power used to actually be managed in-house by Nintendo. Because of the deteriorating conditions on print media, though, massive consolidation has taken place. The company at one point said keeping the print publications alive was one of its main goals, but it seems like that might just be a pipe dream now. More and more doctors are recommending that their patients get their exercise from motion video games. Motion gaming can be especially helpful to children with medical conditions who cannot go outside to play as often as healthy children. A team of professors and graduate students at the University of Utah have developed a video game specifically designed to increase patients' physical strength and give them a sense of empowerment to help their mental state while fighting their disease. The game is called Patient Empowerment Interactive, or PE Interactive, and is played using the Move controllers on Sony's PlayStation 3. The game follows a superhero main character who is exhausted from fighting his arch nemesis, but who grows bigger and more vibrant as the game progresses. The game's creator envisioned that patients will relate to the superhero who gets stronger as the game is played. The team made sure that the game would not be too violent, and that no living thing in the game is hurt or killed. University of Utah graduate students now have the task of finding a way to get the game to other hospitals and caregivers. Now for some games releasing this week. The Darkness 2 is the sequel to the 2007 game The Darkness, and is being released for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. The Darkness 2 has gameplay that is mostly similar to the first game, but this sequel features a new tactic called quad wielding. It allows the lead character to use his supernatural powers while at the same time using his firearms. NBA 2012 is a basketball video game developed for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable, Wii, PC, and iOS. NBA 2012 is the first game in the series to be presented in 3D, only for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions, and it's the first to include motion controls using the PlayStation Move. Rage is a first-person shooter with racing elements developed for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. The game takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, the main character being an amnesiac who crash-landed there. Rage has 2 multiplayer modes, a racing mode, and one featuring bonus co-op missions. Dark Souls is a dark fantasy RPG for both PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 consoles. The game is a spiritual successor to Demon's Souls, which in turn is considered a spiritual successor to the King's Field games. The game will focus on dungeon crawling and the tension and fear that will arise when players encounter enemies in this setting. There will be more weapons, spells, and new classes. It's also said to be significantly harder, with more enemies and more difficult encounters. Other new features include leaving messages to other players, seeing others' deaths, and player versus player, as well as a new co-op system. That's all the news I have for today. Feel free to leave any questions or comments below. Love and peace from my PC to yours.